Hey there, YouTube and Wooper Club fans, it's me, Fruit Taco, back again with a feature match from WCL Season 14. We're at Week 2 with the Waterdeep Wobbuffets going up against the Baltimore Oricorios. Both of these teams lost their Week 1 matches, so let's see who can turn things around and pull out the W in Week 2. Looking at how the two teams stack up against each other, we've got the Waterdeep Wobbuffets with Cyclizar, Sneasler, Screamtail, Latios, Manaphy, Galarian Moltres, Glamora, Rillaboom, Heatran, Scrafty, and Registeel going up against the Oricorios and Barrascuda, Cinderace, Gliscor, Crocodile, Baxcalibur, Goldengo, Mandibuzz, Toxtricity, Breloom, Clefable, and Galarian Slowking. Looking at the speeds, the Waterdeep Wobbuffets definitely, I think, have the advantage here in the speed department. Barrascuda is the fastest overall Mon, with Cinder competing with Cyclizar and Sneasler, but the Unburden boost, as well as the other base 100 pluses on the Wobbuffet side, I think gives them the definitive edge in speed there. The speed gap from 119 to 95 between Cinderace and Gliscor really hurting the Oricorios here. Looking at what looks good for each team, the Wobbuffets, well, there's relatively few resist to Fire, Rock, Water, and Dragon on the side of the Oricorios, making Heatran, Glamora, Manaphy, and Latios all solid offensive options. Grass isn't good offensively here, but something like a support Rillaboom could be an option, though, to support some of those ground weaknesses going up against things like Crocodile and Gliscor maybe trying to throw off Earthquakes. For the Oricorios, the Wobbuffets have a really diverse pool of resists, but overall they're slightly weak to Fairy, Fighting, Ground, and Ice. Baxcalibur could be very strong here offensively, as well as something like Crocodile, although, like I said, Rillaboom with the grassy terrain does weaken Earthquake, so you might have to settle for something like High Horsepower or Stomping Tantrum. Overall, I think I give the edge to the Wobbuffets here. I think their team will be more resilient to whatever the Oricorios bring. I'd expect some slow, reliable play from the Wobbuffets making use of their bulky offensive pieces. I'd expect that the Oricorios try some kind of setup next to something like Follow Me Clefable. While they have strong breakers and things like Goldengo, I expect the Wobbuffets' variety of answers to ultimately win the day, although I could see this battle going either way. And here we have the team that the Wobbuffets are bringing. We're going to start things off with Rillaboom. Max HP and speed with a Jolly Nature and an Assault Vest make this kind of a bulky supportive Rillaboom. Terra Water is going to let it resist Ice and Fire-type attacks while losing some of its other weaknesses. Fake Out, Drum Beating, and Knock Off provide decent damage with good utility, and then you have a U-turn for pivoting. Grassy terrain, of course, coming from this is going to be great, weakening the Earthquakes, potentially trying to target the ground weaknesses on the rest of the team. I like this set. The rest of the team really appreciates the grassy terrain, healing, and weakened Earthquakes. Should provide some definite reliable value in the match, although I might have expected to see Grassy Glide somewhere in there to cover the Barrascuda, as well as doing, I think, about 40% to uninvested Cinderace after it loses Fire-type from Libero. So, this is great. Drum Beating, I do think, makes sense here, though. The rest of the team you'll see isn't particularly fast and appreciates speed control, so the speed drops from Drum Beating are certainly appreciated as well. Just an interesting choice the coach made there. Moving on to Heatran, definitely one of the stars of this team. Near max speed Timid with heavy special attack and some HP investment. It's going to outspeed max speed Toxtricity as well as Adamant Baxcalibur. Terrafire, Flashfire, and Life Orb all potentially boosting those huge heat waves coming out of it into the other team. Earth Power for coverage and Steel Beam to be able to one-shot Clefables. Protect is going to then round out the set, and this looks like a great offensive piece with basically all the coverage it would like, and Heat Wave's doing great damage into most of the Oricorios team. I might have gone with Flash Cannon over Steel Beam so that you can click it more reliably into Baxcalibur, as well as, you're probably going to knock yourself out a lot sooner, given that you're also taking Life Orb Recoil, but the guaranteed OHKO into bulky Clefables is very nice. This team is very special attacky, so being able to get rid of a special Clefable wall like that, especially since we're going to see later there's no Poison Stab on the Glamora or Steel Stab on the Registeel, having that guaranteed way to get rid of it, I certainly see the value in it. Moving on to the Glomora, near max speed Timid is going to outspeed Goldango with max special attack and Power Herb Meteor Beam to get a special attack boost while throwing off a huge attack. Earth Power and Dazzling Gleam are going to provide coverage, along with Protect to round out the set. Terra Grass is going to let it resist the usual ground and water weaknesses it has, and, well, this is another good set to break through something like Mandibuzz, as well as just offer good damage in general, and maybe get some utility out of Toxic Debris, although the spikes would probably be absorbed pretty fast by something like the Galarian Slowking. My only critique here is the Terra type, which I would have liked to see be Ground or Fairy to boost those coverage moves even further. The resistances are nice given Glamora's mediocre speed, but there are so many options for speed control on the team that I personally would have leaned into the offense here more with the Terra type, but no problem seeing the defensive Terra there from it to just live and throw off more big attacks. Latios is up next, and I think the most interesting set of the team here. 140 speed EVs with a timid nature is all it needs to outspeed everything below its space speed on the opposing side, leaving plenty of room to invest in special attack after almost maxing out HP. Terra Fire is going to resist Fairy and Ice attacks, and then we're going to move on that this is actually a very cool support Latios. Tailwind and Icy Wind are going to provide speed control with Heal Pulse to support partners, and a Jetpack Draco Meteor as both a strong attack and one-time pivot move. I love this set. It's super creative, and the rest of the team really likes the speed control and healing. I don't have much to say here, just a really cool set all around, and I hope it gets to show off in the match. Manaphy is up next, the third main attacker of this team. 232 EVs in speed with a modest nature will let it outspeed Goldango, with 224 EVs in special attack and 52 EVs in HP with a Citrus Berry for a little bit of bulk. Protect is given with Tail Glow to boost Scald and Terra Fairy boosted Dazzling Gleams. If this thing finds the time to boost up and gets the speed support it needs, it will absolutely start shredding through Mons. Nothing much to say here besides that. Muddy Water was an option over Scald, as the burn isn't particularly useful against much besides maybe the Breloom, but the accuracy and passive damage are definitely reasons to pick Scald here over the spread Muddy Water. And last up, we have Registeel, max HP and defense with lefties for a very bulky set, Stealth Rock, Terra Fighting boosted Body Press, and Gravity Zap Cannon combo. Gravity is really interesting tech here, boosting the accuracy of Zap Cannon and its guaranteed paralysis to roughly 84%. It also boosts the accuracy of moves like Heat Wave, Icy Wind, and Draco Meteor, as well as Meteor Beam. For added security clicking those moves, we've all seen missing a 90% accurate move do terrible things to a coach's chances in a match, so the extra security there with the accuracy boost is pretty nice. Also lets Latios benefit from Grassy Terrain's healing, which is cool, as well as can be cool tech against Cinderace's high jump kick. If Gravity is up, actually high jump kick can't be used, so that's a way of protecting itself as well as the Heatran from Cinderace's probably main way of doing damage to them. So is this better than just throwing Thunder Wave and another move on Registeel like Heavy Slam? Not sure. This is definitely way cooler though, and I'm excited to see if we can see that Gravity put in work. Overall, this is just a solid team. Heatran and Glomora and Manaphy provide good offense with support from the other three. The reliance on speed control could be awkward, but I believe Steve Chuck can navigate that issue well enough. He's just a great coach. So, with that, let's move on to the Oricorios. And starting it off for the Oricorios, we have Goldango. Max speed and special attack modest nature with choice specs going to be throwing out huge special attacking moves. Terra Water will let it resist fire. Then we've got Make It Rain and Shadow Ball as its stab moves of choice. Side Shock coverage and Recover? Interesting choices here. Make It Rain and Shadow Ball are really all this mod needs, but I think the other moves could be improved. Psyshock lets it hit on the physical side, but isn't particularly useful otherwise in the matchup, and Recover on a Specs set is quite iffy without Trick. I think Trick and Focus Blast would have been great options here to neuter the Ghost resists. Make It Rain is so good, it's what you look like most of the time anyway, though. I also wonder maybe the Recover could be left over from changing items on this, or playing with the set right before it's kind of near the match. We have Gliscor up next. Max speed, jolly nature with investment in defense and HP with a little special defense thrown in. Toxic Orb will proc Poison Heal, and Terra Water will let it resist Ice-type attacks. This is a very supportive set with Knock Off, Taunt, U-Turn, and Tailwind. I like this set. With the recovery of Poison Heal, Gliscor is quite tanky. The speed investment will let it outspeed Galarian Moltres and taunt it or set Tailwind first. I think I'd have liked to seen High Horsepower on here somewhere, probably over Knockoff or U-Turn to hit the ground weaknesses though, but overall, solid set here. Baxcalibur is up next with a very complicated investment. 184 EVs in HP, 160 in attack, adamant nature, 44 defense, 52 special defense, and 68 speed. Terra Poison is going to resist fairy moves without becoming weak to fire, and Ice Body will heal it in the snow. Loaded Dice is going to boost the power of Icicle Spear and Scale Shot, which can be further boosted by Swords Dance, and then Protect is going to round out the set. This is a set. It seems to be a tweak of the VGC Regulation E set, which I don't know how well that spread happens to work here. The speed is what really gets me here. You're not outspeeding even Adamant or Modest Rillaboom and Heatran, and even after a Scale Shot, you don't outspeed max speed Latios. I think reworking the speed here would be a big improvement. The moves, I think, also leave a little bit to be desired. This set gets walled by Heatran and Registeel, which could be covered by something like High Horsepower. This Pokemon is going to be highly reliant on Gliscor setting Tailwind. I also think Thermal Exchange is the better ability here, letting you get an attack boost from Heatran spamming Heat Wave, as well as protecting you from burns. This set can still do work, but it's really going to rely on its teammates clearing the way for it to clean up in the late game. Speaking of supportive teammates, we've got Slowking Galar here, max HP, near max special defense with the heavy-duty boots. Terra Water doesn't really protect it from anything in particular, but could be useful as a resist to Heatran and Manaphy. Future Sight and Sludge Bomb are its stab options, with Thunder Wave and Chilly Reception for utility. I like this set. It's a good special wall with utility. The only change I might make is changing out Future Sight for something like Focus Blast or Muddy Water. This is a good wall to Heatran, but can't do a lot back to it, so I think a little something to kind of cover the steel types there would be nice. Still though, great, sets up the Hail for the defense boost for Baxcalibur, as well as proccing Ice Body, so we'll see how that goes. Clefable is up next, max HP, max defense with lefties for a physical tank to complement the specially defensive Slowking. Terra Water resists steel-type attacks that could come at it. Moonblast is its offensive move with Moonlight, Stealth Rock, and Light Screen for utility. I'm not sure I agree with Stealth Rock on this set. Moltres is the only weakness, and I think this team really wants Follow Me support for the attackers. If you put Follow Me on this set, it becomes pretty good, with Light Screen being nice tech against threats like the Heatran, Latios, and Glamora. Really, it's good, I just think it wants Follow Me here to support the rest of the team. And last up is Cinderace, max attack and speed jolly with a Life Orb and Terrifier boosted Pyro Balls. U-Turn, Sucker Punch, and High Jump Kick give the set strong coverage paired with Libero giving it stab on the first move it uses when it comes out. This is a great set with strong moves against most of the other team. High Jump Kick is risky, as clicking it into a Protect is devastating. Low Kick is pretty much just as good against Heatran and Registeel and much safer, but you lose out on being able to smack things like Manaphy and Glamora, so it's a risky choice but understandable, and I think the trade-off is fine here. Overall, while I think there are improvements that could be made to the team here, there's still plenty to work with. Gholdengo and Cinderace are going to have to work hard to open up the game for Baxcalibur, and if either of them go down without doing much, it could be an uphill battle, but we'll see how it goes. And here we are with the match proper. Looking at the team preview, no Sneasler or Cyclizar for the Wobbuffets means Cinderace is the fastest thing around and looks really good here. No Ghost Resist also opens up Gholdengo's offensive capabilities besides just clicking Make It Rain. On the Wobbuffets side, Cinderace is the only Heat Wave resist, so Heatran looks fantastic, as does Manaphy with Dazzling Gleam to hit the only Water resist. We're going to see Rillaboom and Heatran here lead out into the Gholdengo and the Gliscor. Grassy terrain, of course, goes up, and this is looking pretty good for the Wobbuffets. Fake Out plus Heat Wave here just looks really good for them, and we'll see the Terra Water from the Gholdengo to resist a Heat Wave, and there is the Fake Out and the Heat Wave doing great damage to the Gliscor. Make It Rain coming out and getting a critical hit on the Rillaboom. That's pretty unfortunate for the Wobbuffets. With the Assault Vest, Rillaboom actually had a decent shot to live a second Make It Rain without the crit, thanks to the special attack drop. But both sides doing big spread damage to one mon and solid chip to the other. We'll see how things continue to go. Protect here from the Heatran, maybe scared of a ground move, but a Tailwind comes out from the Gliscor, so Gholdengo will go and KO the Rillaboom with the Make It Rain. I'm wondering if the Rillaboom was a sack, or maybe expecting to outspeed a bulky Gliscor and be able to get off something like a big knockoff or a drum beating. So that could be just unfortunate for Steve Chuck here, expecting different investment and losing Rillaboom here because of it. Lots of healing. Registeel is going to come out, which is an interesting choice. It can't do a whole lot to either of the opposing mons. But also, with that Tailwind up, everything else was also somewhat threatened. So we'll see what Steve Chuck's play is here. Cinderace is going to switch in for Gholdengo, who'd been dropping its attack taunt on the Registeel from the Gliscor before it goes down to Heat Wave, means that it's not going to be able to set up that gravity. So I think that's what Steve was going for, the increased damage, the increased accuracy on all his moves, as well as with his Cinderace potentially denying high jump kicks through the use of gravity. But the taunt is going to shut it down. And now Clefable is out, which is also an interesting choice. This Clefable can't do a whole lot to the opposing mons either, rather than just switching something like Gholdengo back in and going for very, very spammable Specs Shadow Balls here. Manaphy is going to come in for Registeel as the raw high jump kick comes out from the Cinderace, not fearing the Protect on the Registeel at all, and Light Screen coming out. That's what the Clefable was here for. That was just a really, really bold play from the Oricorios going for the high jump kick there. We've seen that Heatran does have Protect and was able to click it that turn, and if Steve had happened to click it, been huge recoil damage onto the Cinderace, but I think Steve had predicted the Oricorios to not do that, expecting the Protect to come out, but that over-prediction going to cost him as Registeel comes out, and things are looking pretty solid for the Oricorios right now, but this Manaphy is scary, although they do have the light screen up. Terra Fairy on the Manaphy as Cinder just goes for another raw high jump kick, doing huge damage to Registeel, and a lucky special attack drop means that the Tail Glow only gets the Manaphy to +2 before Gravity is going to come out, and now finally we'll be able to stop those devastating high jump kicks. After all the recovery, turn 6 here, Pyro Ball is going to come out and hit the Registeel to finish it off before Dazzling Gleam finishes off the Cinderace, and Moonblast not going to get another special attack drop, but proc the Citrus Berry, and now we have Glimmora and Gholdengo come out. Make It Rain looks really good here, but it will have to be able to live the turn to be able to get it off. Here's where something like Follow Me on Clefable would be really, really nice. Protect from the Manaphy and the Glimmora to Scout, as well as stall out the Light Screen turn. Moonlight on the Clef will let it get to full for free. Meteor Beam here from the Glimmora, +1 doing huge damage to Gholdengo, and able to take it out with the spread from Dazzling Gleam, as well as getting a nice crit on the Clefable, going through the Light Screen, doing huge damage to it. Moonblast doing okay damage back, and still no secondary special attack drop there. Glow King comes out, which is also interesting. I mean, with the speed of the other Mons, you can't really send out Baxcalibur, but what do you have here to do against these other two Mons? Dazzling Gleam going to pick up the K on the Clefable, and then the +1 Earth Power easily doing over half, but the Sludge Bomb will take out the Terra Fairy Manaphy. Last 4 Pokemon on the field, Draco Meteor comes in and does hit to take out the Baxcalibur, and the Earth Power will come out to take out the Glow King. Overall, a pretty solid battle from both teams. The Oricorios really looked like they had a good shot there kind of in the middle of the game after a little bit of luck early on, and some either really bold plays from them, which happened to work out. Man, Follow Me on that clef would have been amazing. I think it really would have given them a good shot at actually taking the W here, but unfortunately they didn't have it, and so the solid play and options of the Wobbuffets will, in the end, win the day here. Great job to the Wobbuffets for pulling it off in the match, but the Oricorios certainly put up a good fight. And that will be it from us here today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the match, and I'm looking forward to bringing you another one soon. See you in the next one.